Good morning, everybody. Shannon and Karen with Wandering Out Yonder. So we are in Shenandoah. We are getting ready to visit President Hoover's retreat.
Summer retreat.
Yeah, down at the bottom of this area. Anyhow, we're going to take this hike and we're going to share with you what we see and find along the way.
Yeah, this is one of Karen's favorite Shenandoah hikes.
Mm-hmm.
It's cold.
It's cold, it's rainy. It's a bit socked in right now, so we're hoping we do get some sunshine today. And it may rain, but we're doing it anyway because we're here.
If not, it's a beautiful hike.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to share it with you. So there you go. There's the post. Now the Appalachian Trail is that way, and we'll be coming back that way. We're taking a left here. We're doing this trail opposite of how most people do it.
We've done it both ways.
Because we've learned that lesson, that this is the best way to do this trail. We did it the other way last time we did it, and it really kicked our butts. Because it's a pretty steep incline on the way out, and you're already on jelly legs.
Well, it's a long 1/8 incline on the way out.
A long, steep 1/8.
Yeah, and you've got jelly legs.
Yeah, so we decided to do it this way again, because this was not nearly as difficult to do it this way. But
we
anyhow.
said it before, Shenandoah.
Yeah.
Either all up or all down.
Yeah, and this one is down and up. So anyway, the first part of this trail is pretty cool, though. You get to hike down next to a creek. I don't know how much water will be running because they're experiencing drought conditions here. As a matter of fact, you can't fish right now because of it. So anyhow, here we go. I think we've hit it at a pretty good time this year to enjoy the fall colors. We came about a week later than we typically do, so that we could see some color. If you look in the forest, it looks like someone turned a light bulb on. Even though it's all cloudy out today, the colors are popping because they're so pretty. If you're looking around you here, beautiful. All right, it's really, really pretty out here. The leaves, you can see all the different colors. Just beautiful, and they're just carpeting the trail. You do have to be careful when you're out hiking in this, though, because they're wet. You can slide on these, you can fall. But it's beautiful. And we have our first little creek crossing here. We just passed a group that was hiking back up. They hiked down to the falls. A group from REI, I believe. Nice group of people. But they look like they were all really enjoying themselves. Right, Shannon? Try not to get my feet wet. All right, so we've reached this point, and we are going to Rapidan Camp, which is this way, and it's 0.8. We've got a mile from where we started down to Rapidan Camp is 1.8 down, and then the big hike, the majority of this hike is back up, but it's over a much longer distance, so it's not quite as steep. Doesn't kick your butt quite as bad.
It levels out.
And it does level out at the end
on that ridge.
On the AT that goes across the ridge, which is beautiful.
And deer tracks. Hazeltop overlook.
Yeah. Hazel Mountain, I think.
Yeah.
Anyhow, you get a beautiful view, and we're looking forward to it today because the colors were so pretty. Even though it's a bit rainy, it just sprinkled just now. So we have reached the falls here. Came down the mountain. Kind of at the bottom here almost. But this is the falls area. And again, they're having a bit of a drought right now, so the water is running very low. But still pretty. Still love that sound. She's doing her pictures. But then the stream just continues down. And this trail just kind of follows along the side of the creek here until you get to the Rapidan Camp area. Look how beautiful the forest is. All right, so at this point, to cross over the creek, you could probably rock hop. The creek is so low right now. But they have a logs here for you to cross over. Now I imagine it might be a little bit slick right now, so but yeah. So we have made it down to the bottom here. And again, this is Hoover's retreat area. This is probably what would be considered the first Camp David down here. So we're gonna just kind of walk around and show you guys what we see. It's beautiful though. Beautiful fall colors.
We're 6'4" from Big Meadows. From here.
Okay.
Laurel prong. That's what we'll be picking up next.
Laurel prong.
I knew it was a prong.
Okay. So like Shannon was saying, we took this trail down. What is this trail called?
We just came down the Mill Prong Trail.
So what we'll do is we'll mosey around here and enjoy this and share it. Then we will take the Laurel Prong
Up to the AT.
up to the Appalachian Trail and over. And that makes a big loop, like a 7-mile loop.
Yeah.
And this is just a really nice hike.
Yeah.
You get to see all kinds of beautiful things.
So the 1/8 that we just came down, we do have to go back up that same elevation. However, by doing it this way, the elevation is drawn out in a much longer duration.
Not nearly as...
Right.
And the last part of the hike, for about a mile, is
pretty
flat.
much on the ridge, yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons we like to do it this way, because your legs are kind of jelly by the time you get there.
Yeah.
So that flat last mile is always nice. Now, the other way that we did it, the 1.8 we just came down, we would have to go up after hiking about 5 miles or so.
Yeah.
So,
We just preferred it.
Yeah.
The first time we did it, we thought that we did it wrong, and we did do it wrong. Then we were planning on doing it. We thought it was miserable. So the next time we came back, we're like, oh, we'll try it the way that we had intended to do it.
it was terrible.
Yeah, we found out that our mistake actually played in our favor that first hike.
Yeah. And if it wasn't such a beautiful hike, I don't know if I would do it, but it is a beautiful hike, and it's a good way to get some good exercise.
Yep.
So, all right, here we go. So when you get down here at the bottom in the camp area, everything is gravelled out. The paths are real super easy. There are marquees and markers that explain what the buildings were for. But this was a huge retreat area, as well as kind of like a Camp David, like he would bring dignitaries from other countries out here. This was during Hoover's administration. Yep. So like this is called the Creole. And it was the Rapidan home of 2 of President Hoover's aides.
Well, that's a good job. If you get to
Yeah,
stay
man,
there.
that's pretty cool. Yep, if you ask me. And I'm guessing that the CCC built all of this.
I believe some of his administration did too, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it says this was his personal secretary and personal physician
Okay.
that stayed here.
All right. So you can see there's a wagon right there, so somebody might be in there. Or maybe they've brought some supplies down here for some
And
reason.
here you go. Both of these gentlemen was instrumental in choosing, purchasing, and developing the camp.
Okay. So Shannon just read where that particular house right here called the Creole, they use it for volunteers. So volunteers come down here and stay, and then manage and help out with whatever needs to be done out here, helping with people out on the trail, which would be a really cool thing to do, I think. All right. But anyhow, there's like remnants all over the place of what used to be here, and there are still buildings.
This was the mess hall.
Yeah, so this area was once the mess hall area.
What? They had outdoor grilled steaks, fish, chicken, Virginia ham, potatoes. Sweet.
No escorting your own wife. So they force them into getting to know each other, it sounds like. All right. But again, like I said, this is such a cool little area to visit, and it's
Well
look at
maintained.
yeah, very well maintained. Look at the beauty around you. I could see why they loved it down here.
And obviously maintained on a daily basis. There's no leaves on the.
No, no, they come. I would say that's what the volunteers do. Part of what they do is they come out here and blow the trails and so forth. All right, so either way you go, you're going to see some history. So they do have some horse trails that can bring you down here, and there's a place for you to tie up your horse. But they are designated trails for the horses to come down, and we did notice quite a bit of horse poop on the one we came down. I don't know if that's a horse trail or not, but you could tell horses have been down that trail. But they don't allow them beyond this point. They don't want horse poop all over the place. All right, so we're gonna walk down here and take a look at this. So Shannon was just pointing out this. And this was, Shannon?
Yeah, it says that their very first night here, they spent the night in a tent with a wooden floor. It's called 5 Tents, which actually is, that location is up here on the hill, and it's just a couple foundations that are left up there, but that's interesting. Here, Mrs. Hoover's original instructions called for a good board flooring and a roof, with a boarded strip extending up from the floor perhaps 3 to 4 feet with sides composed of canvas.
Could you imagine any of our presidents or their wives doing this now?
Being excited to be in a tent, right?
Can you believe this? Oh,
Yeah, so.
yeah. So anyhow, it turned into something really spectacular down here. It is to me. I think this is such a cool area. And we're going to be checking out some more of the homes and the buildings left down here. All right, so this is a marquee telling you then and now, and the brown roads are the structures in the trail system now, and the blue is what used to be. So all the buildings were part of the original structure, except for a couple, I think. All right.
But what's here is still really
Yeah,
well
but
preserved.
yeah, they did a fantastic job of preserving this area, which I think is great. I love to see this kind of history. All right. Now the town hall was here. So they had a series of buildings here, and that was the town hall.
And you can tell by how flat it is.
Yeah. And there is a creek. And from what I understand, the Hoovers had this creek redirected for fishing purposes and for a pond, a personal pond that they wanted. I think it would be fantastic being down here. So peaceful. So this was the Prime Minister's cabin right here. And from what I understand, came and met with the Hoovers, Mr. Hoover, President Hoover, during those times. This is the run I was talking about that they had redirected. It's not, there's nothing in it now, but it created a pond for them, which Mrs. Hoover wanted. And you can see here's a picture of it right here.
Oh, there's the pond.
And the pond is way down there, yeah. Or what's left of it anyway. There's not much there. But again, this is the Prime Minister's retreat. And he was invited here for relaxation as well as, I guess, political reasons. International reasons. Yeah, this is pretty cool. We're going to walk up on the porch. But again, just so spectacular. You've got this beautiful creek running in front of you. There are some falls not far from here. Mrs. Hoover used to horseback ride. That was one of her recreations out here, which would be fabulous.
There's an exhibit at this.
All right, cool. Yeah, it's the first time for us. We've never been inside one of the cabins. But this is just beautiful through here. Wow, look at that. Love to see those old photos. All right, this is really cool. They've done a self-guided kind of tour of the history, which this is brand new. We've never been able to see this. But they have this all down here for you to see. Very cool. Okay.
This is interesting. And then the Marines actually guarded them while they were here.
All right. The construction of Rapidan Camp fell to the United States Marines and the Army Corps of Engineers. Wow. Just spectacular. So all sorts of historic things happened here. And of course, this was the period during the Great Depression when it hit. So I was wrong earlier. I said the CCC was involved in building down here, and it wasn't. It was the Army Corps of Engineers and the United States Marines. The CCC was created in the 30s, but I don't think they had a hand in what was built down here. But you do see a lot of the CCC, which was created during the Depression to create jobs and infrastructure in our country. But so you will see a lot of that in national and state parks all across our country. But yeah, this is really, really cool. Great hike to come down here and see this. All right, and so after leaving the Prime Minister's house, walking around the corner here, big old beautiful stone fireplace right there. This cabin right here on the right was the Brown House, which I think wraps around this way as well. And I think there's a great big porch on the end of this that overlooks the creek over here on the left. So we'll come around here and take a look at that. Yeah, you can hear the creek over to the left. Shannon and I walked down there and had lunch one day when we came up here for this hike. All right, yeah, isn't that gorgeous? This giant porch. Looks like they have a library here on the porch out here. Yeah, they've done some recreation of, I believe this is where the Hoovers stayed, if I'm not correct. This was their home that they stayed in.
All right, so we are waiting for, I guess, what?
Tour.
The next tour?
Yeah, from what I understand, they're doing tours now. We ran into one of the park rangers, or maybe he's a volunteer, I don't know.
Yeah, this is called the Brown House.
This is the Brown House. I think this is where the Hoovers lived.
Yeah,
and they have it set up and staged now. I think we're going to get to see some pretty cool things inside. This is the first time. We've been down here twice.
This is our third.
Yeah, and this has never been part of what you could see down here. Yeah. So this is kind of cool to me.
This is exciting. So he told us to have lunch while we wait. So Karen is making our lunch while we wait.
Yeah.
So our lunch spot today is on the Hoovers Retreat House front porch. Yes.
All right, so we just finished with the guided tour of the Hoovers Brown House.
Yes.
A lot of really cool history there.
Which, interesting, they told us even why it was called the Brown House. Right. Not just because the color is the Brown House, because they thought it was fitting because they came from the White House. Right. So that was interesting.
And when Hoover was growing up, the house that he grew up in was called the Little Brown House. Really cool. And the history of his wife as well. All of it was just fantastic. And the volunteer who was sharing all of this history again, as a volunteer,
Super
which I think
knowledgeable.
is fantastic that they have people who love coming out here and sharing all this history so that you can learn something while you're here. Fantastic job.
Absolutely, yeah. So there was no pictures or anything permitted inside, but we are so glad that we did it. And I told Karen, I think I want to do some more reading now and learn a little bit more. It was interesting,
Very interesting.
interesting part of our history.
Yeah. All right, so we're heading up the Laurel Prong Trail, and it will hook up with the AT. So we have 2.3 to get to the AT, and then I think another 1.5 or so from that point, maybe 2 miles.
Enough that we need to get moving.
Yeah, so we still have a pretty good hike ahead of us, and it is mostly uphill till the end. But here we go, right, Shannon?
Yep.
All right, so this is the 5 tents area that we were talking about, that when they first built the camp, Mrs. Hoover wanted these 5 tents with wooden floors and so forth for them to stay in while the camp was being built. Yeah. And now you make up these stairs, and there are some foundations left, but that's all. But this is the area that was done, and then they continued the work down there while they were up there enjoying the great outdoors. All right, so we're on Mill Prong, right?
No, Laurel Prong.
Laurel Prong. Anyhow, this is heading up the mountain. And look at that, all those mushrooms. Beyond cool.
They're gnome steps.
Yeah. Yeah, I think fairies live here.
Yeah, that's so they can get up here into the entrance.
Yeah, up to the fairy entrance. Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Anyhow, this is a very steady 2.8 to the top. And then we'll be going right on the AT. We may have done half of it by now, I'm not sure. It is a beautiful day. Even though it's not very sunshiny.
It's not sunshiny at all.
No. But it's cool, which is great for uphill hiking because you sweat and you get very hot. And I don't care what the temperature is, you get hot and you sweat. So it's keeping us cooled down. Although I'm still sweating. How about you, Shannon?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're about a half mile out from the AT, and these are the views that you get along this part of the trail. Really pretty. This is a pretty area through here. See all the rock coming down. So something, like Shannon was saying, something happened here. They had a landslide of some sort. Took trees down and lots of boulders. And it goes down the mountain here. Just continues down. It's a pretty area though. Really pretty. It's all the green on the rocks. Different colors in the trees. Beautiful, beautiful.
So we are headed back down the AT towards where we parked. We missed the overlook on the AT somehow. So we won't be seeing that part today.
So we just passed a sign that was posted on one of the trees saying to watch out for bees and wasps in this area. And then we came upon this, I believe it's a wasp nest. Yep. Yeah. Right here, hanging there. Ooh.
On that little twig.
Yeah. All right, now going the other direction is the sign as well, and they have marked out "or bees." It
Definitely
is.
wasp.
It's a wasp nest. And we just passed it, so.
Well, you have to go right under it.
Yeah, you do. But there's nothing in it, I don't think, right now. It's too cold, I think. I bet it's maybe 40 out. It's not very warm today. Again, and cloudy. It's clouding up pretty good again.
But you're hiking weather.
Yeah. All right. All right. We're almost to the end. Thought we would end this here before we get all the way to the end. But that was a pretty tough little hike.
We were discussing. I don't know which way it's rougher. We got a late start today, so that played into it.
It's 1.8 down. You go down, down, down. Then from there you go 1.8
up.
And you run into a trail. What's the name of that trail?
You come up the Laurel Prong Trail, and then you have another mile.
There'll be an intersection, and you go right.
You got another mile to the AT, which is also up. And then once you get to the AT, I would say you have at least a quarter to a half mile up. And then,
I'd say more than that. At least a mile.
Yeah, so I'd say maybe we're getting this last mile and a half here down. I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough trail.
It's right around 7 to 8 miles, I think.
It's
1.8, 2.8, and then 2.4, I think, is what it was. Is that right?
I don't know. It's a tough trail.
Yeah, it was.
It's a lot of miles.
And a lot of up,
Right.
a lot of down.
Right.
And it's rocky. And
And
we're on the Appalachian Trail. Everything's
We
rocky.
missed the overlook on the AT somehow, some way.
Anyhow, we're about done. We're glad we did it. I mean, we wanted to get out in the woods, and it's pretty.
Look at those colors.
Forest is beautiful. It's nice and cool. The sun never came out today, and it looks like it might rain again.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be heading home today. So anyhow, thanks for coming along with us, guys, and we will see you later. Bye.